Now, back to Trump. It's not just thehill.com. As I say, it is the New York Times. The rest of the Drive-Bys are publishing articles claiming these ISIS attacks should help Hillary's campaign. And the reason is because of her record at the State Department. I kid you not. This is how out of touch these people are. They really, 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 really are out of touch with mainstream American thinking. Not news to me, but it might be news to more and more people. It's a combination of arrogance and condescension. They just are unable, and they are intolerant of any views other than their own. So, in the playbook, in the manifesto, in the narrative, in the template, it is written that if there's a terror attack out there, it has to benefit Hillary. How can you say that after Benghazi? How can you say Hillary Clinton's been called on the carpet over Benghazi? A lot more people paid attention to that than the drive-by media knows or wants to be aware of. She doesn't have a sterling record as Secretary of State. She certainly doesn't have an anti-terrorism record. The thing she's on the record with, don't forget, is her definition of smart power. We must empathize with our opponents. We must sit down and chat with them. We must learn what it is that inspires them and motivates them. And in this way, we build a bridge of commonality. And in this way, we reduce tensions and so forth. Why isn't that working in Europe? Europe has basically bent over and grabbed the ankles for I don't know how many years now, doing everything they can to show they're tolerant and accepting, and what's happening? They're being laughed at, and all of that tolerance is being exploited. They're being laughed at. Europe is considered a bunch of jokes now, with the French, though, finally manning up. Now let's move on. Another example is Mara Liasson, this last night's special report with Brett Baier, who said, Mara, how is this playing for Republicans? Where do you think this race goes? Has it completely turned after the Paris attacks?
There were a lot of predictions that the Paris attacks would be the tipping point that a lot of Republican establishment figures have been waiting for, meaning that the angry outsiders, Trump and Carson, would fade and Republican voters would kind of wake up and start looking for a more plausible commander-in-chief, someone who had foreign policy.
Whoa. That just sounds almost exactly like what I read at thehill.com, except Mara Liasson doesn't work there. Let me check something. Hill.com. When did this thing? Well, I'm not sure. It looks like I got it this morning, and Mara was on TV last night. I don't know when the Hill. I'm going to have to click on the link and find out when this piece was posted at the Hill. Recue that, Mike, because this sounds like exactly what I just read to you from thehill.com. Trump's gains show him once again confounding Beltway wisdom, where the widespread view was that such a grave event would lead voters to look toward candidates purportedly more mature and sophisticated than the erstwhile star of The Apprentice. Okay, that's thehill.com. Here's Mara Liasson again from the top.
There were a lot of predictions that the Paris attacks would be the tipping point that a lot of Republican establishment figures have been waiting for, meaning that the angry outsiders, Trump and Carson, would fade and Republican voters would kind of wake up and start looking for a more plausible commander-in-chief, someone who had foreign policy experience and was vetted and experienced. That hasn't happened. Trump has gone up. Trump gets really good marks on being tough enough to fight ISIS in these polls. Bombing the expletive deleted out of ISIS seems to be a pretty appealing message to a lot of Republican-based voters. So in that sense, this has followed the pattern of the Republican race so far, which is that conventional wisdom has been wrong at every turn.
Yeah, and you are one of the architects of it, but I mean, notice how similar her report is to what we read from thehill.com. I'm not criticizing Mara Liasson. Please don't send her a bunch of emails. I'm just pointing something out here, that they all think the same way. Are they all, they either talk the same way or they read the same stuff, they go to the same clearinghouse for the approved drive-by media opinion on any particular story, because it's uncanny. Her reaction to this is identical to what thehill.com's was, and it is that Republican voters are finally going to wake up and realize Trump's totally wrong to deal with something like this. He's not mature enough, he's not worldly enough. That, to me, is just uncanny. And then they minds are boggled when they find out that Trump went up. But Mara, I need to tell you people something. I need to remind all of you in the Drive-By something, and it was there for you to see because it was a Drive-By media report. I had it here on this program yesterday. It was a dissection and analysis of the demographics of Trump support. And, you know, she says here, he seems to have a pretty appealing message to a lot of Republican-based voters. That may be, but it's not just Republican-based voters, Mara. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that close to a majority of Trump's support is coming from blue-collar voters? That was the news yesterday. Blue-collar. Now, when you hear the term blue-collar, people automatically think union thug or union employee, union worker or something. As I said yesterday, I think blue-collar has a new meaning today, and that is somebody who pays taxes. So Trump's doing well among blue-collar people. I don't think Mara Lyson and the Drive-By media would ever associate the Republican base as blue-collar. Do you? No. So they're not even up to speed on where Trump is getting his support. They're not even, I don't think they have the ability to be honest with themselves. They can't believe that anybody who would vote Democrat might support Trump. Why? Well, Trump's gauche. You know, he's unsophisticated, and he's not part of the network, and he's not one of us. And they just can't believe that somebody would vote for Obama or vote for Hillary would be lighting it up for Trump. But Trump's support, the point is coming from across the spectrum. It's not just whatever they think the Republican base is. And his numbers are way up. And I remember what I said Monday. If he wants to own this campaign, he'll pick up this terrorism and run with it like he has on immigration. And if he does, nobody will be able to stop him.